Hey everybody, it's time. It's finally time. We look at this year's updated top 40 favorite movies of all time, part 4, which means we're finally at my top 10 all time favorite movies. Now, just remember one thing this list isn't really that much like last year's list. Last year, the list I had last year was not was kind of going to be kind of the same like this year. This year's going to be a little bit. There might be a few minor upgrades, but this is overall kind of the same. So just be aware. I'm treating this like a first list. Treat every favorite movies of all time list each year because next year I'll be doing another favorite movies of all time, top 40, top 50, top 10. Just so I'll update it every year. So this year here's the updated one. And just remember, all my opinion. This is what I think on. If you hate my opinion, go might as well just hate me. This is all my opinion. If you don't like it, then that's not my fault. So just be aware. Here we go. My top 40 all-time favorite movies. We're at the last part. Let's look at my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Number 10 is The Dark Knight. Batman, of course. I remember my vote for Batman. This is Batman, alright? The Dark Knight is a movie that pretty much takes every superhero movie previously and makes it darker, more mature, more everything. That's what I love about this movie a lot. It's the most mature superhero movie I have seen. I swear to God, just looking at the poster, it looks crazy, right? All the characters perfectly portrayed how they were in the comics, and this time, though, they are portrayed in a very more adult type way, and I like that. I think it's cool. Christian Bale's Batman isn't the number one best Batman of all time, but for the character overall, it still works, and it still feels like a real mature kind of film for his ways of being Batman. He's dark, he's crazy, he literally is every other Batman, but more violent. Then there's the Joker. As you all know, this is the best Joker out there, okay? He's just the darkest, most craziest Joker ever. Even, it's Heath Ledger, okay? You may think it's not that great, but trust me, it is. It's perfect. Okay, I love the Joker, and this movie's the best one. All the other characters portray a perfect style as well. This movie just feels nothing like every other Batman movie previously, and that's really a good thing, because it's giving us some new ideas. I mean, I'm telling you, this movie worked perfect. I'm sad. It's sad that in the DC Extended Universe they made Ben Affleck as Batman. That didn't work at all. Number 9 is Forrest Gump. This is Tom Hanks' time to shine, right? Forrest Gump is a movie that takes in a lot of great details to the books of the past. If anybody has read the book Forrest Gump, you know how great it is. The movie overall is just as great. A story about a man who has a lot of life in his career. He started out as not that noble, not that popular, but later has become something else. Huge, popular, everything. Like, I'm telling you. And the movie, it may not sound like much, but actually watching the movie, it shows a lot. I mean, Forrest Gump is honestly one of the best performances Tom Hanks has to offer. Just for his great ways of talking, his great personality, and the way he's like in this kind of movie. I love how the step they throw. We don't see what's coming. For someone who hasn't read the book like me, that's kind of why I like this movie a lot. I don't know what's coming. They just throw a lot of random crap at us that I don't know about. And I like it. I like how they're giving us some new ideas. It's just perfectly works for this kind of movie. I wasn't expecting much, but I'm happy I got something out of this. Number 8 is Jaws. Jaws, man, it's awesome, okay? You know me, I'm into these kind of movies. Jaws is everything that kind of movie is perfectly. Is it the scariest movie of all time? I don't think it's the scariest, but it certainly is the best. Jaws perfectly represents the right kind of horror type of movie. With a shark who eats on anybody in the water. He goes to any ocean available. It's perfect, okay? I love the effects in this movie. You'd think, since this movie came out in the 70s, the shark attacks would probably not be that scary. But they actually really are. This movie makes you scared to go in the water. And I love this movie a lot because that actually works. Normally they would just say that, and people like me would not be scared at all. I still go in the water. No, this movie actually did scare me and to going in the water. It worked. It really did work. Even for the age today, it works. It scares me a lot. I get scared to go in the water thinking about this movie, not knowing its basics. That's just what makes Jaws perfect. It always succeeds at giving you the chills. It succeeds at giving you the idea. It succeeds at almost everything we love about these kind of horror movies. Number 7 is Jurassic Park. Now this is actually a little bit better than Jaws because it's cooler, okay? It's CGI. This is one of the first movies to give us CGI. And it's the 90s. It's 1993, by the way. So a movie that came out in 1993, you'd think the CGI probably be off. No, it's freaking awesome, okay? Even to this day, it's awesome. The CGI used in this movie is just as great as CGI used in today's films, which is saying a lot. I love how they gave us all that. I loved all the crap they give us. They give us a bunch of crazy dinosaurs in a park. Sounds stupid, really works. I'm telling you. I every time I watch this movie, I just find it so find it so thrilling. Find it so enjoying. I find it so unique. I find it to be one of the greatest ideas ever written for a kind of movie. Jurassic Park is incredible. It's one of those films that on paper doesn't sound too smart, but overall is incredible, awesome. All the bad stuff about this movie are a shame. I have nothing to be ashamed of this movie. This movie did everything right. Everything right. Number 6 is Toy Story 3. A lot of people are probably wondering, oh, dude, you like Toy Story over these movies? Yes, I'm telling you. Here's something I gotta say about this. When I was around 4 years old, 5 years old, Toy Story was my creation. This was before I knew all these other more mature movies. Because before that, I was into Disney movies. And this was the number 1 Disney movie I watched so many times. I watched this movie so many times, and looking at it again, I can remember all the great memories I have with this. Which is why it makes it that great of a movie. When I picked the best one, I picked Toy Story 3. And because the third film was the right way to conclude the series, the fourth film shouldn't have really existed, and I don't want anybody commenting, oh, it's because Disney's greedy and just wants that money. That's not true. It's just, they thought maybe they could get kids excited again. I enjoyed Toy Story 4, but Toy Story 3 is the best one in the whole series. It just has the most. It actually gives me the tears. The overall Toy Story saga was my childhood, okay? And that's why I love this movie so much. It really worked for me as a child. All the stuff I loved about it as a child, I still find enjoyable today. I thought all that stuff I loved as a child could just be random coincidence. I honestly hate the idea today. Nah, I still love what they did with it. Okay, they made it a really great and really enjoyable experience. I know, better than Jurassic Park. Ooh, what a stupid idiot. Come on, cut me some slack. I had trouble with this list, okay? Just enjoy it. Alright, look, there's 5 more movies on here. Okay, they're much better than this one, so I'll say that. Number 5 is Ghostbusters. Oh, look, another movie you didn't expect to be on this list, huh? Ghostbusters should not be this epic, but it honestly is. I wasn't expecting much to come out of this movie. I was expecting it to be a basic, everyday 80s movie with some sort of comedy standards, like most of the other comedy movies. Thought it'd just be, no, Ghostbusters was more than that. I did not think Ghostbusters would be this epic, but since it was this epic, that's just what makes it so awesome. The fact that this movie is incredible as a child and as a grown teen proves how great this movie really is. I mean, the effects are great, the story's great, the humor that doesn't need to be thrown in there, what somehow is perfect. I think Ghostbusters really deserves the perfect treatment again. It deserves more treatment. It deserves to be a lot. And people call it a great movie, just not one of the best. I call it a great movie, is one of the best. What about the sequel, Ghostbusters 2? Not as incredible as the original, but still did have a nice idea in the singers. Not a lot of people enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It had a good idea. When I'm thinking of a bad Ghostbusters, I'm thinking of the 2016 version. That version did not need to exist at all. It was garbage. It was trash. It was terrible. It gave the Ghostbusters the name it doesn't need. So I'm glad that next year, should have been this year, but it's too bad. Next year, Afterlife is going to continue the story. And I'm glad they didn't just remake it again. I'm glad they're not going to continue with the 2016 version, because they shouldn't. They should continue with the one that is the ultimate movie. This one. Love every single bit of it. Number 4 is Back to the Future. You know, what not to love from this movie? I saw this movie again this year for its 35th anniversary, and I'm telling you, all the stuff I saw in it is still ingenious, incredible, fabulous, awesome, fantastic. Back to the Future is just the name it needs. I'm expecting it to be an everyday 80s teen movie like all the other films. I expect it to be something like 16 Candles or Fast Times at Richmond High. Just a funny kind of film. No, it was way more than that. It was a lot cooler, a lot neater, a lot more creative. A time traveling movie, okay? I'm telling you, it's incredible just how many great effects they throw at us, how much great story writing they throw at us. Robert Zemeckis, the director of this movie, could have made this, didn't have to make it this awesome, but since they did, it deserves this kind of treatment. It's that incredible of a movie. Back to the Future was so great. It got a sequel, Back to the Future Part 2, which was perfect, just as great as this one. There was also Back to the Future Part 3, which honestly wasn't as great as these two films, but I guess it did do a good job concluding the series. I just hope they don't make a Part 4, or hopefully they don't make a remake. If they make a remake or a Part 4, I'll be pretty upset, you know. Trust me, I'm sure they won't. They cannot remake something like this. You can remake Ghostbusters and get away with it, or not get away with it. You can remake that, but if you remake Back to the Future, you're going to be in the biggest trouble ever. Okay, this movie does not deserve any more attention. Well, not more attention for cinema. It deserves to be released, but it doesn't deserve to get more sequels or remakes. Number 3 is Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. This is the best one out of the series. Fellowship of the Ring is a great movie. It started the series off really well. It's a great book. The Two Towers kind of was a tad disappointing, but I still loved it. Not as much, but I still loved it a lot. And it continued the story right. But I think my favorite one out of the bunch would definitely be The Return of the King. It concluded the Lord of the Rings trilogy in the greatest way possible, giving us some of the greatest effort we all really needed to see. We were really wanting to see how they would finish this off. I mean, for someone who hasn't read the book, I'll be honest, I only read The Fellowship of the Ring. I never read any of the other Lord of the Rings books. I just went to the movies right ahead. And I'm telling you, Return of the King just helped with the series ingeniously. Return of the King finally gave us the conclusion we all needed. It had great emotion, it had great effects, great war. I will watch this movie so many times. I don't care how long it is. I can rewatch it so many times and never get tired of it. Even looking at the effects today, this movie will never get tiring. I mean, what? I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a movie that I just will never find any flaws with. Even if I have to find flaws with it, I doubt I can. I swear, if someone leave a comment down below. If somebody leaves a comment and says, "Do you have a problem? What problem do you have with this movie?" I'm telling you, I will not answer it. I don't care how hard it will lead to. I don't care if it's going to make me lose subscribers or not. I'm not answering it. I cannot think of anything wrong with this movie. Number 2 is Endgame. Oh, look, here's this movie. Yeah. Oh, Jack, I get why you like this movie so much. Because you're a modern teen who loves all the new stuff. And yet you're talking about all this old stuff is great, too. Okay, if I was that into it, this would be number 1. But not. Since it's number 2, there's one movie that's much better. I'm sure you all know what it is, but if you don't, just be ready. Endgame included the Avengers movie. It did not conclude the MCU. They're still going. But they included the number 1 thing that made the MCU start. The Avengers. The Avengers trilogy. The first Avengers movie was awesome. The second Avengers movie was pretty overrated. I didn't like it. The third Avengers movie, Infinity War, was awesome. It was genius. And then we got Endgame, which concluded all this. Did everything that fixed every problem Infinity War had on the story standards, not in the ranking standards. It just gave us the right conclusion we need. This is the one movie that has every MCU superhero in one screen. Even Infinity War didn't have that. It had a bunch of superheroes, but they were still missing out on some. They didn't have Ant-Man or Hawkeye. Well, Ant-Man and Hawkeye are in this movie, so there we go. There we go. It has every superhero that in the entire MCU joined together. That's a real big, great, incredible idea. I don't care if it's CGI, it's still awesome. I love the MCU a lot, I'm sure you all know that. So, I had to pick a favorite to put somewhere on very low on the list, and I picked Endgame. But which is better? If y'all see my channel, you know what I loved a lot. You know what I love a lot, and you'll know pretty much what number one is. I'm telling you. Just take a guess. Yes, number one is Star Wars. Yeah, I know. It's obvious, isn't it? Empire Strikes Back is my favorite one out of the bunch. Now, I actually, not gonna lie, I do know some people out there who honestly don't like The Empire Strikes Back. Now, before I get comments saying nobody hates this movie, if you hate this movie, you suck. Because they're just, I think those kind of people just seem to find more to when it comes to the actual structure than thinking about it more. I respect those opinions, okay? If you don't like Empire Strikes Back, that's fine. But a lot of people love it, and I'm definitely one of those people. It's my favorite one of the bunch. All the other Star Wars movies are great. I'll talk about them all. The New Hope is fabulous. This one's the best one. Return of the Jedi is also really fabulous. How about the prequels? No. Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are really bad. Revenge of the Sith was much better. Not as great as this, though. The Force Awakens was great. Not like a lot of people say it's bad, but it's fabulous. Last Jedi, I loved it first, but then I rewatched it and I kind of lost good hope for it. It's not as great as I thought it was. And Rise of Skywalker. A lot of people say it's dumb. I think it's awesome. This one's the best one, though. Empire Strikes Back, yeah. It's incredible. You all know why. It focuses a lot on the dark side, and that's something I need. It continues the saga in the best way possible. It gives us everything we wanted to see from A New Hope, and it gives us some of the scariest stuff ever. Like, this is not much of a spoiler. You should have already heard this spoiler. Darth Vader is Luke's father all along. That is the craziest thing ever. I mean, maybe when I first saw this movie, not, but I actually would think. I've been thinking about how many people found this so really surprising. Like, you did not have any clue that he was his father. You did not. There was no proof that he was. So this is honestly a huge shock for all of us, all the big Star Wars fans. And it kind of still shocked me a little bit too when I was younger. Which just makes this the best one. All the other Star Wars movies are fabulous. This one is definitely the best one out of the bunch. Yeah, I know. That's pretty much the same as last year's list. But I told you it would be like that. I told you there would barely be any changes. So you can't be mad at me because I did warn you, okay? Look, I'm sorry if you hated this list. This is it, okay? This is our final list. My all-time favorite movies of all time for this year. Next year I'll do another one. If it's the same like this one, I'm sorry, okay? This is just something I like to do for fun. Be mad at me all you want. There are still more people out there who do even worse problems, okay? There's more stuff to be worried about. You can't just think of this as the number one problem in the world. Okay? I swear. Bye.